Hello and welcome to the show that your parents, the PTA in their sleep, don't want you to hear, the heliosblog. Today, Andrew Tate appears in totally new interview. Here we go.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Populists destroy the people who defend the population, which are always going to be the men, because the men fight. The days of old, they'd come in and just kill all the military-age males. Now they just neuter us.
Indeed.
Then you have me.
When you say neuter us, you mean remove our masculinity?
Absolutely, yeah, they neuter us. We're now living in a world where if a man is remotely masculine in any way, he's attacked for it.
Literally. In the West, at least.
If I say my wife isn't allowed to talk to other men, mental breakdowns. They're about to put me on BBC One this morning, all over the front of The Guardian, whoever watches this crap. Andrew Tate's toxically masculine. He's controlling. He's evil in his heart. Why? Because my woman's not allowed to go party with a bunch of dudes? One, she doesn't want to. That's the first thing. She doesn't want to.
Indeed.
Secondly, if I had a wife and she said, I want to go party with Mike and Nathan, I'd be like, whoa. Who's Mike and who's Nathan? No, you're not. And if she says, well, I'm going to do it, I'll say, fine, then I'm not your husband. Goodbye.
Indeed. Exactly. Right.
I'm not going to attack her. I'm not going to beat her up, but I have standards. Once again, they attack masculinity because masculinity is based on parameters and standards. That's what masculinity is. Masculinity has always been, traditionally, defending a border. Let's go back a couple thousand years. What did the men do? This is our land. You come here, you have to fight us. That's all masculinity ever was. So
that's being territorial.
Masculinity in and of itself is built around enforcing parameters. And you enforce parameters with your children, in your business, in your relationship, in your friendships. That's what you do as a man. But you're not allowed to now. That's how they attack masculinity. You know, you have to accept everything.
Yeah, just take it on the chin.
Especially from women. If you don't accept everything from women all of the time, you're a misogynist.
Yeah, you're a horrible person. Terrible. Bad man. Exactly.
If you have any standards whatsoever, you're a bad person. You're not even allowed standards in how a woman looks. Here, let me get sent back to jail. I don't find fat women attractive.
Uh-oh. Terrible. Toxic statement of the week. Of the year. What do you mean? Fat women aren't attractive? Say it ain't so. Bad man.
If a woman says, I don't find short men attractive, who cares? Nobody. If I say fat women aren't attractive, they're about to put me once again. Good morning. Fat shaming. Misogynistic, that they're going to attack me for having a standard. Why am I not allowed a standard as a man? They have standards. In fact, I'd argue women have higher standards than anyone.
Indeed.
Ask the average woman on the street what she wants in a man. The average woman. I don't want him to be short. I want him to be rich. I want him to be smart. I want him to be interesting, charismatic. He has to be spontaneous, and he has to love my family, and he has to love my dog. And then she'll go on for 25 minutes about what she wants.
He's got to be big and strong and tall and fit and la la la. But no. She can be fat. She can be whatever she wants to be. She can sleep around with dudes. Yeah, exactly. Men having standards, ooh. Terrible.
All I'm saying is put the donuts down and they want to throw me back in jail. All I'm saying is don't eat so much pie. Whole thing is hypocritical and it's
Yeah, don't eat so much pie. Hilarious.
Garbage. And that's why this whole misogynistic attack is garbage. And they're doing it specifically so that men don't have any standards anymore. And that's why they're trying to neuter us. Because if you have standards, especially in your household, the number one thing that's going to inspire you to resistance is sticking up for defending your family. By extension, your town. By extension, your nation. If they attack it at the nucleus, if they attack it at the very beginning, if you don't feel like a man in your own house, if you have no control and influence over your own castle, why do you care about what happens to your town or your city or your country? And then they come along with this enslavement and you're just like, oh, well, okay. I guess. And you just sit there and just end up a slave, waiting for the QR code to be stamped on your head, for the camera to detect if you're allowed to walk down that street, or you get fucking a bullet in your head from the robot sniper. That's where it's all going. So they don't like masculinity. Masculinity is no good to them. Masculinity was only good to them if we'd go and die in wars. And
yeah, for them, for their cause, exactly.
Now a lot of men have woken up to that stupid. We're not going to do that anymore. And they've got good enough technology, they can just send some planes or some cruise missiles and blow up whatever farmer needs to die for freedom. Some poor innocent farmer who made $3 his entire life, he needs to be blown apart by a $600,000 missile, otherwise you won't be free to get a coffee. So they're going to go do that. So what do they need masculinity for? Because we have parameters. They don't want us to have parameters. They want us to accept everything. And they started with this feminism garbage.
Indeed.
It's really interesting because I would argue, and I'm pretty good at arguing. I've been around. I've been around.
Has anyone ever beaten you in an argument?
No, never.
Could anyone?
It depends what we're arguing about, but I believe that I can argue even when I know I'm wrong.
Who could beat you in an argument? Who could challenge you to a great
His brother, of course.
argument?
It's a good question. It depends on the subject. I'm not that impressed by any of these intellectuals we see.
So Jordan Peterson, could he out-argue you?
Peterson
Probably could.
and I have an interesting relationship. I believe the enemy of my enemy is my friend. However, I do believe it's hypocrite. I think it's
Of course.
very difficult to sit and talk about mental rigidity and how you should be a man
And meanwhile, your daughter is a disaster. Yeah.
and who is unafraid of the horrors of the world, and then
And then his wife is ruling the house, like his wife is disrespectful.
end up addicted to antidepressants. I think that's hypocritical personally.
That too.
He also talks very slowly, which is why he would always lose in an argument to me, because he's too slow and I'm very fast. Speed wins. Trust me, I've been in the cage. I know. So, and he knows that. So he would never want to debate me. But I guess it depends what we're talking about. If he wants to talk about the intricacies of some old philosopher, some book he's read, I've never read the book. Maybe he could perhaps pull off a semi-interesting point. But then I also believe, I'm quick fire, bro. I'll tear remarks. That's no big deal. But yeah.
What about Elon Musk? Did you see him rinse that journalist on BBC?
Amazing.
That was fucking genius.
It was amazing. And it's amazing also how I like to believe I've been a huge component or a very
Proponent.
important point, a very important part of the Matrix cracking, because I do think it's actually cracking now. Only the very stupid believe anything the MSM says anymore.
Indeed. Exactly.
Anyone with a brain has woke up and realized that everything is a lie. Everything is a lie. Education's a lie. Judicial system's a lie. The news is a lie. Money's a lie. Everything's a lie. Everything you were taught.
Yeah, exactly. Everything you're supposed to work all the time for, all that crap. Exactly. No, it's actually true. Sadly, hilariously. But yeah, anyway, I digress.
The education was a lie. All of it.
99% of university degrees are useless. Like you're stupid to get them because they're just indoctrination, right? They're not doing anything positive, right? There are some that are good, STEM. Depends on what STEM you do though and where. Try to avoid the indoctrination.
And anyone with a brain is starting to realize that now. The interdynamics between men and women against a lie. We can go back to the original point of talking about men and women. And it's always the thing that gets me in trouble, but it's true. And when I was going to say I'll argue the point that 80% of women agree with me.
Yep.
I've never had a negative interaction with a female ever. Every single woman.
Well, yeah, when you're like a successful, attractive man, you don't have like bad interactions or whatever, like what the average guy has.
Comes up to me. Never ever, besides Lucy from the BBC. Every single woman who comes up to me on the street says, finally, you're telling the truth.
You must have had an ex that doesn't like you.
They all miss me. People. They scroll Instagram seeing my face endlessly, like, how do I get him back?
I missed the lottery.
No.
Really, though? We've all been hurt.
It's not about being hurt. I'm talking about the fact they try and paint this image of me being disliked by women, and I've never experienced it at all. I get thousands of love letters a week. thousands from women all around the world begging
Big surprise.
to be with me. It's the truth. And all I do is say the absolute truth. So once again, we talk about lies. Not only are they lying, trying to pretend I'm an enemy of females, which I'm not, they also lie about how men and women interdynamics should work. They lie about that. They sit and say, no, to keep your woman happy, let her do whatever she wants. And
Yeah, no. She can't just do whatever she wants.
let her be basically in charge. Let her run around and do whatever she likes. Let her have male friends and buy her all this stuff. And that's not true. It doesn't work. And it's a psyop on many levels. I was talking to my brother yesterday where I was saying that I believe currently there's this global competition between women who have found themselves a simp of who can cuck their man the hardest.
Yeah, I agree.
On TikTok.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's absolutely true. And this is why, again, I think TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and all that garbage is the same shit, is horrible. And that's why it teaches girls to be disrespectful, right? If you're not careful.
Words crack me up.
Bro, but it's true. You see these women, they're like, I found my perfect man, and he bought me they run around with their phone. Yeah. He bought me all these Louis Vuitton bags. He bought me this car.
Oh,
I'm out now with my girlies for coffee with my allowance, and he's going to give me a $3 million wedding, and I'm going to wear a white dress. And she's just advertising the subservience of her man. She's just saying,
yep, that's right.
My man's a slave. He's a simp because twice a month he might get lucky. And I'm going to advertise to all the other women on TikTok how well I've got my slave behaving. I'm going to cuck
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
him publicly. And it's like a big global competition. And I see these TikToks of this insanity, and I'm like, I'm a billionaire. And my woman, yeah, she's looked after, of course. But if she was running around making TikToks like this, I'd be like, you better...
Yeah, you're not my wife anymore. Exactly.
Delete that account or get a fucking job. I think they're hiring over at McDonald's, young lady. You want to go buy $10,000 bags and talk about that? She's not doing that to show appreciation to her man.
No.
Absolutely not. She's doing it to show status to other women. She's showing off.
Yeah, the guy to her is a purse. He's an accessory. In her, it's like Brittany Renner type garbage.
And the worst thing about it is, people will have her convinced, or the world will have you convinced that woman's now happy with her man. She isn't.
Nope.
She doesn't respect him, which means she's miserable anyway, which is why she's so obsessed with money and cars and garbage, because she's miserable. If a woman really loves you, she doesn't even care about that stuff.
It's actually true. Exactly.
So there's a global competition to cuck your man, and that's part of the psyop inside of the Matrix.
Yup.
Because they're trying to destroy the idea of interpersonal dynamics, because that's where happy families come from, which comes...
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've already explained my theory about this with the, man, we need a name for it. Okay, let's brainstorm a name for it. Okay, so the idea is, again, wokeism teaches girls to be idiots that, they delete themselves from the gene pool, but they're still useful idiots that are taxed. And these men then have to get a girl who's not from the dominant culture and marry her and have kids, who then the girls get indoctrinated. So there's got to be, we're gonna brainstorm a word for this concept of the girls that are useful idiots for the Matrix. I mean, they used to have the term like cat lady. I'm sure you've heard it, but I don't think that's. I mean, and there is the term useful idiot. Useful cat idiot? Okay, let's go with that for now. So the term is useful cat idiot. We're going to start using that one.
Which inspires resistance. A woman's happy when she has a man she truly looks up to and truly respects.
Yep.
She's not going to respect you if you're a bank.
It's true.
Take it from a very rich man. If you're nothing but a bank, she ain't going to respect you. If she respects
Yep.
you and gets rewarded and gets presents and is taken care of course. But if you are simply a bank account to her, she's not going to respect you.
Yeah, this is why Rollo says, don't lead with your wallet.
Why do these rich men's wives sleep with the gardener?
Well, you know why.
It's the gardener. He's broke as a joke. Because they don't respect you. So all of this is part of the larger psyop. And a lot of women come up to me and sing my praises. Maybe, well, 80% of the fan mail I receive is from women.
What does that do to your ego?
Well, you know what it does to his ego.
Like, does it give you a god complex?
Do I have an ego?
Of course you fucking have an ego.
Of course I do, yeah. Who wouldn't? Yeah. Top G. You know, it's actually kind of cool. The only thing that's kind of cool about it is, if I want to go on a date, let's say, and I don't, because I've settled down now. I've got my wives, so I've settled down. Found, 11 good ones, and I'm done. I'm a loyal man.
Yeah, the 42 virgins or whatever.
But let's say I wanted to go on a date. It's kind of cool because I remember days of old where like you'd have to go on a date and you'd have to sit and like talk and be interesting. You'd have to be like, oh, so tell me again about your job. What do you do? Oh, marketing. Wow, that must be hard. That's definitely not a diversity hire. Tell me more about...
Exactly. Guys, never had this conversation before. Promise. Never.
What do you do? 3 emails a day. Interesting. So you have to sit there and talk crap. It's kind of cool when you get to this level because you have all these women just saying, you're the king of the world, you're the king of the world, and they know everything about you. So if you want to go on a date, you just scroll through the pictures and go, okay, you, this time, this place. And they'll show up, and you'll just sit there, and I'll usually come.
It's basically a harem.
I'm with the guys because we'll be doing something else. I'll just bring them along by proxy. Like, oh, yeah, we've got a poker game, so you just, nice to meet you. Okay.
But wouldn't you be interested in more about a woman just the way they look on Instagram?
My point is they know everything about me already, and they're already in love with me, so I don't have to talk to them.
Sounds a lot like a king.
Unless I want to.
Don't you want to talk to it?
Sometimes. Sometimes I don't. But it's kind of cool. It's just like,
but is that
it's done. It's all done.
Is that not too easy? That's not war for you. Maybe you need to really fight for all and have war and then appreciate it more.
I have enough wars. The last thing
That's right.
But you said everything is war.
It is. It is. You're right.
So women are too easy.
Everything in life is about bedroom fun. Except for bedroom fun. Bedroom fun is about power. Now, in the comments, you tell me where that's from.
Easy for you.
Well, exactly. So I've retired. It's conquered. It's done. It's done. It's done. There's not a woman alive I couldn't say, you know what, you're beautiful this time, this place, and she wouldn't show up. And I'm like, okay, very nice to meet you.
My wife wouldn't.
Good. Because
we've had hours of conversations of me coming out here.
Because she's in love with you, so she shouldn't.
Right.
Indeed.
But my point is, if I decided I wanted to court a female, I would have choices, and I wouldn't have to sit and date effectively, because you get to a certain level of status where they're just chasing you, and that's fine. And I'm not saying this in a horrible way at all. In fact, I actually really like it, and I actually really respect when a woman will turn up and she knows everything about me, and she likes me, and she wants to be with me, and it's all done. It's a done deal. Good. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Done deal. Boom. Cool. And I just get to play poker with my friends and it's done. That's cool. But I've settled down. But
so will you be flippant when you said 11 wives, or have you got 11 wives?
I can't let the Matrix know everything. Because
there's always going to be.
It's all attack vectors. Yeah,
Indeed. It's it's an angle that they can then attack you from. Exactly.
I have to smoke screen because it's all attack vectors, and the largest attack vector for a man will always be women.
His dependence. Yep.
I don't know if most men understand this, that the easiest way to get a man in any regard is a woman, because women have basically no OPSEC in general.
Explain no OPSEC, sorry.
They have no operational security. They have no OPSEC. So if my brother and I go somewhere, I know that unless I want people to know I'm there, no one will know I'm there. If we bring either of our girlfriends, sooner or later, just a corner of a cup on an Instagram story, or
chicken box.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Do I get
hilarious?
That one? Yeah. No, that's true. But they knew where I lived anyway. I didn't get raided for pizza. They knew exactly where I was. But women aren't very good at operational security, firstly. Secondly, women are easy to scare, as they should be. So if you need to, your woman can love you with all her heart. But if they want to find out where you are and they kidnap your wife, she's going to tell them.
Yeah.
Of course she is.
Of course.
If the police interview her, she's going to tell them. Of course she is. Women are the attack vector. And I'm talking about this from a law enforcement perspective. And I can also talk about it from my previous life. If I had an enemy and I wanted to get hold of him and I couldn't get hold of him or I couldn't find it.
All you have to do is go after the girl, and then the guy will come like what's the expression? Like a moth to a flame? No. Probably you catch more flies with honey than vinegar is the operative statement there.
We just find a chick. She'll tell us. Or you at least watch her. Yeah. She'll give it up. Every single time she'll make a mistake. Because women don't have this combative mentality. And I wouldn't want a woman who does.
Indeed, that's a man.
Because that's a man.
You don't want a man.
Exactly, you want a woman. Yeah. So I'm not being misogynistic. I'm saying that the kind of woman I like who's truly feminine, who I'd want to be with, is a primary target. Law enforcement know this too. Law enforcement will arrest a man. Let's make up a hypothetical situation. Hypothetical. Let's imagine there's a guy called Tate. Tate is arrested.
This totally didn't happen, guys.
Tate is accused of human trafficking. He's accused of human trafficking because he told 2 of his friends what hours to post on TikTok. Matrix attack, garbage. The law enforcement know it's garbage. Everybody knows it's garbage. The primary objective in this hypothetical story is to put the man in jail, use the media machine to slander him, and to drum up a real case. Because he's now in jail, they've got some months to find something real. Because all they have now is TikTok is stupid. So they call all of his ex-girlfriends, or every girl he's ever interacted with, and they sit down and say, were you a victim of Andrew? And they say, a victim of what? He never did anything to me, he never hurt me, he never hit me. Ah, but did he manipulate you? What does that mean? Manipulate me to do what? He took me to dinner. What do you mean manipulate? Then what they do is they bring out a league table in this hypothetical scenario. They bring out literally a league table, a spreadsheet, after going through this imaginary person's bank accounts, saying, well, where did he take you for dinner? Here. Oh, where else did he take you? Here. Okay, that he spent maybe, I don't know, 8,000 euro on you. Do you know he bought this girl this? Do you know he spent this much on this girl?
Oh, my Lord. So it's just trying to drum up jealousy? Is that what he's saying?
Or he went here with this girl, and he'll put together a league table with financials next to each name, almost like the Premier League. You're number 13.
Oh, my Lord.
Watch her sit there and go, I loved him. I'm number 13. Why'd that get diamonds? That's the beginning of the 6-hour interview. And they'll pressure her and try and get her to agree to some manipulation, or she was just because she was sad. They don't care if it's real. They just want the signature. So women are the attack vector. So if you're a man with any kind of past and they get their league tables in order and they get their stories in order and they got their surveillance photos of when you went to the same restaurant with the girl she doesn't like.
Oh my Lord.
And they get it all together and they start putting it down in front of you. That woman who you took care of, who you spent time with, who was very happy with your interactions, who loved you, is now being
the enemy,
weaponized against you.
Yeah.
Women are the #1 attack vector for a man, by law enforcement and by your enemies. If you're a man out here and you're dating 3 or 4 women, please understand that if I was the police or if I wanted you dead, we would look at those 3 or 4 women and work out how to use them against you. That's the bottom line.
Does that
psychopaths?
That mean you struggle to open up to women because of the threat of that? Are you
probably yes?
Closed to them?
I mean, I am
to some degree, yes, to protect for their own protection.
I'm cautious because
you see.
So maybe you're not giving them the full year.
No, it's not that. I'm doing them a favor.
You see.
that line, I'm doing them a favor.
I am.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. You take the average chick.
But I'm asking about you, though.
Yeah, I am. I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
Take the average chick and say, you are going to have to go through a 6-hour interview with federal agencies, and you're going to have to not make a single mistake and not give away a single detail, and perhaps you're going to have to obscure or lie by omission. Have to be very careful so they can't get any details of our relationship or our life, so they can't destroy me. And it's going to be 6 hours against professionals. You tell her that, she'll start to panic, right? She'll start to worry and she'll get nervous, which means she's going to do even worse. It's better if she doesn't know anything to tell.
Yeah, that's, what is that? That's mob mentality, right? Effectively. That's like The Sopranos.
I'm doing her a favor. When they sit down and say, how does Andrew make money? She goes, you know what? I've been all around the world on private jets. I don't know.
But does that not ruin your...
And they and they don't know because they've never been told.
Intimacy.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I'm protecting her. I'm protecting her because she no longer has to sit there and go, okay, I know he does this, this, and this. What if they ask me about this, this, and this? What if they already know? What if they had the... No. She doesn't know, so it's easy.
Can you share anything about who you are?
Of course, they know who I am. I'm a man who takes care of my people, and I'm a man who never fails. I'm a man who's brutally competent. You ask any of my wives where my bank account is in which country, they couldn't tell you. And that's good for them. I'm protecting them. So now they haven't got to lie. I don't know. I don't know.
And the more they press, they'll just break down because they really don't know, and then they'll get frustrated.
I have a pretty dress on that he bought me, and I have no idea where it came from. And that benefits them. Now,
but does that not feel like you could get closer to a woman and really fall in more deeply in love?
I don't think so, actually. There is a difference between business and pleasure, right? Okay. Let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian L, Tom and Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, and Andrew. Shout outs to you. Most recent purchaser of Strategist Guide to Seduction. Thank you. My books can be found at bit.ly/heliosbooks. My Patreon is at patreon.com/theheliosblog. Want me to help you out? Well, I offer coaching. Just message me at theheliosblog@gmail.com. That's my email. And of course, I'll slot you right in. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.